guys, so today I didn't really I wasn't planning on making a video. I wasn't really thinking of even talking about this subject because it feels very personal and you know what, I actually think there are so many different reasons as to why I didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it because it's very personal. I didn't want to talk about it because I just don't want people saying things about it that would be perhaps very benevolent and kind of hearted, and perhaps those people will say those things with my best intentions at heart. But it is such a personal topic that I feel like sometimes people are just a bit invasive, honestly. And also making this video without addressing some of my mental health and conditions and things is not really possible, and I have decided a while back to not talk about those things online. But at the same time, yesterday I watched a video. It's actually a YouTuber I absolutely adore, one of my absolute favorite YouTuber. Her channel is called Cynthia Dubois, and she makes really amazing videos about literature, about creation, about university, about knowledge, about being, just trying to get to the point where you are the best person you can be, not in the sense of, oh, I want to be the fittest, I want to be the most like whatever person. No, she's like really kind and tries to become even kinder and kinder, and just find her happiness and on balance, I suppose. And I absolutely adore her videos. So if you don't know her, the link is gonna be down below, and I highly suggest you go and watch her videos. And yesterday she posted a video about creativity, and in that video, she said many different things, but one thing really resonated with me because it's something I've been thinking about for maybe the past 3 or 4 years actually. And she was talking about finding her imagination back, and how at some point in her life she lost her imagination and she had no idea where it went, why it went, and how to find it back. And she also mentioned actually that she was having a lot of nightmares, and maybe something you don't know about me is I have very frequently nightmares, and real bad, ugly, disturbing nightmares actually, and I've had them for as long as I can remember, really. But yeah, when she was, talking about imagination, I immediately linked it to obviously creativity and my own situation, and I wanted to kind of like sort of like applaud her for her courage and her honesty and just how genuine she is. And I wanted to come up and share my own like personal journey with that. And I also feel like I want to talk about it because I would like this channel, I would like everything I do online basically to really be me. And I feel like something I haven't been able to share online, and that for different reasons. First of all, because it's not like the most easily shareable thing. Then because I feel very self-conscious about it. And also because it's been just a struggle for me in the past few years to create. But I am someone who likes to create. As far as I can remember, when I was younger, I used to draw and I used to write. And I would write a lot, actually. I have really early on memories of writing stories, fiction, poetry. And I think a lot of kids do, but not that many, actually. Like, I was literally writing books. And I kept doing it for a very long time, actually. I kept doing it until I was maybe 19. And then I had to stop. And then I started again, and then I had a full long stop. And I've mentioned it here and there, But this is actually one thing I struggle the most with. And it's one of the things that depresses me the most, actually. And you know what? If I'm completely honest with you, I think it depresses me for many different reasons. I think it depresses me because it's genuinely something I like to do. It's genuinely something I used to love doing. And it's also something I wasn't bad at. I have always been complimented on my writing by different people in different fields. But I've never dared saying out loud, I write. I like to write. I'm a writer. I'm working on a book. I never dared sharing my personal writing. I feel like in my head, like in the vision, in the image I have of myself, so much of my identity is actually based on literature, based on reading, analyzing, studying, teaching, but also based on creating and writing. And it really depresses me, saddens me, makes me feel absolutely worthless to not write. But there's another part of me which I think is very shallow, very vain. I just don't wanna... I don't know, I think it's just the fact that I like the idea of writing. I like writing, but I also like the idea of writing. And I want to be someone who writes. You know what I mean? It's just so bizarre. It's a bit of a validation of some sort. It's like if I write and if I get recognized for what I write, then my life is worth something. Then I have achieved something. Then it wasn't completely pointless to be on Earth. And it's just bizarre because it's not something I would think of anyone else. But then again, I'm me. You know what I mean? It's just so bizarre. It's like you don't have the same relationship. Sometimes I feel like, you hear so frequently, you'd be kinder with other people, you'd be this and that with others, so treat yourself the same way. And I believe that, I agree with that to some point. But then again, I think with yourself you have such a very different and very unique and complex relationship that maybe sometimes you see things about yourself, or maybe you have this ability to push yourself a little bit more. And I would like to be able to push myself a bit more. And at some point I was like, maybe that's something I'm done with. Like maybe I was writing a part of my life. Maybe I was creating, because it wasn't writing only, it was also drawing. Maybe I was creative sometime, and then now I'm not creative anymore. Maybe it was a dream at some point, maybe it was a possibility, a possible path at one point in my life, but maybe it's not anymore. And maybe I need to accept that, mourn that, have this moment of grief, and say farewell to those dreams and those activities and creative moments. But I think it's not something I actually want to consider. It's not something I want to do. I tried doing it with as much serenity and peace as I could, really. But while doing that, I found no happiness, I found no peace, and I found no relief. Quite the contrary, actually. But for me, one thing that's really difficult, I think, is to realize maybe why I am not writing anymore. Because drawing is something I like, but I don't suffer from the lack of drawing. I'm fine if I don't draw. And most importantly, I think something really important is if I draw just for myself, and if I never get like I don't know, an exhibition of my art or anything. I sincerely do not care in the slightest. Like, if I can draw just for myself, have this little relaxing moment with my own being, that's fine. That's like that's what I want from drawing. I don't want anything more. But actually, with writing, I don't feel satisfied, I don't feel happy, I don't feel content with writing for myself, letting it sit on my computer, on my desk, and just, that's it. I want to be published. And I don't know why I so desperately want to be published. It's like, it should be enough to just write for myself. I feel like it should, but it's not. If I'm honest with you, it's really not. And yeah, the reasons why I'm not writing. I think when I was writing a lot, meaning almost every day, it was because I had so many emotions and so many feelings. It was because I was feeling life with such an intensity. And I think I stopped feeling most of the things I actually was able to feel. I feel like I cannot feel as much as I used to be able to. Like, seriously, it sounds so depressing, and it's actually very depressive and depressing. But yeah, I cannot feel as much as I did before. Actually, most of the time, the only thing I feel is exhaustion. Most of the time, I just feel tired. I just feel really tired. I just feel physically and emotionally tired. And before feeling that tired, you know, it's so bizarre. I've always been someone who was sad and low, and I had a tendency to be depressed. And I think I was also having those moments of highness, like I was so happy. So it wasn't even happy, it was just I was feeling so high. I was just feeling so in awe of the world and the beauty of the world, the beauty of nature, the beauty of moments, of interactions, moments between people. I could just feel things so intensively, and then I would have those moments of real deep low where I felt like, you know, there was absolutely no point in living. But I was able to use that to create things. I had so many things inside that I had to just pour it out and then rework it, you know, like redefine it, make it beautiful, make it perhaps interesting, perhaps witty, perhaps poetic, you know. I was trying to, at least. And then I went through a phase of absolute numbness and anxiety, and that moment I could not create anymore. Absolutely nothing would come out of my brain. And then I went to therapy, and I had a moment where I was feeling kind of like, I was feeling better. I was feeling like, oh wow, I'm doing better. But then I couldn't create because I was feeling better. But I wasn't feeling better like the high when I was younger. I was just feeling alright. And I couldn't create because I had no emotions. I mean, I had no strong emotions anymore. It was a struggle to find ideas and to find the spirit to create, if that makes any sense. And then I had a moment where I felt really low, and I was so low, like I was actually very sad, like when I was 16 or when I was 18 or when I was younger. And I wrote a lot at that time. And then I got better, but like better, I suppose. And then I think I've been in a phase of not feeling super well, being slightly depressed, but not acknowledging it for a past year and a half. But it's just numbness. It's not feeling overly sad, as in a sad that has a strength, if that makes any sense. It's just a numb, tired, mute kind of sadness, which doesn't really allow any creation, because I just feel tired, I just feel empty, I just feel like I'm done. And I haven't been able to create. And I have ideas, you know. I walk in the streets, and when I'm on the I don't know, when I'm in the metro, when I'm traveling, when I'm hearing people speak, I have those ideas for short stories and novels and novellas, and I sometimes I even write some paragraphs in my head, but I never get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write. And I think I'm just afraid of, why should I write anyway? Like, what for exactly? And it's hard to, because I'm online, I feel like it's such an ego thing that, I'm online and people know me for certain things. They will know me for feminism, veganism, but it's like, yes, this is me. I mean, I do believe in all of those things. They're very important for me, but like, the real deep down me, is that it? I would say the real deep down me is more about writing, is more about finding things beautiful and being so touched by the beauty of simple things and wanting to make a whole video about the beauty of, I don't know, a ray of light or a smoky sort of like scent when you go out early morning and you have this sort of like smoky odor in the air, and how beautiful it feels, because it feels like the first morning of everything. Those little things in life that really I feel so strongly about, but I haven't been able to enjoy them, to write about them, because I've been so busy with life too. I think it's also something really hard for me to accept. It's super hard for me to accept that my creativity is restricted and suffers from having to fill paperwork, having to go to appointments, having to do grocery shoppings, having to do all those very daily practical things that I honestly just don't like doing and struggle doing even. I think one of the biggest things for me right now is I definitely want to write. I want to get back into writing, and I'm hoping that maybe this part of my life where I was feeling so numb, so tired, so empty, so just like lost even, I just hope it's gonna end with the changes that are happening in my life right now, but I have no assurance, I have no guarantee it's gonna happen, and it's a very stressful thing as well. It's a very scary thing as well. Because it's not even only writing, it's writing, and then it's writing something good, and then it's writing something that could potentially be interesting, and then it's writing something that could potentially be published. Like, I just want to have one book published. I just want that. Honestly, if I can have that in my life, it's like the biggest achievement I could have personally, as for my selfish person. Like, that's the only thing I want. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to put this out there. And it feels so personal. It feels so weird sharing that. That's why I'm doing it in English as well. I don't think I would ever be able to say all those things in French. I don't think I've ever said that to anyone. Like, to nobody. I don't think I've ever told that to anyone. Because no one really understands in the people I know. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I hope maybe you found this interesting. I hope maybe this echoed with your situation. I hope maybe this makes you realize, yes, I want to do this as well. I want to pursue this again. I want to tackle this issue that I have with creativity in any sort of way. But creativity, it could be anything. It could be cooking, it could be drawing, it could be sewing, it could literally anything. But yeah, I feel like being creative is such a blessing and a curse. It really is. It really is. And I feel also like maybe at some point in my life I took the wrong turn. I feel like maybe at some point earlier in my life I should have taken right and I took left, and taking right would have enabled me to focus and allow so much more of my art to flourish, and I would have had more time, more money, more resources to create. But instead I took left. You know what I mean? It feels like I have made the wrong decision and I'm like 26, and 26 already feels like the end of the world. And I know it's ridiculous because it's not, but it feels like it's over. It's too late. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here because I could ramble forever. Thank you for watching, and honestly I know some of you guys are gonna leave amazingly kind and supportive and interesting and insightful comments, and I know some of you will share your personal experiences, and that means a lot to me, so I want to thank you in advance for that. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.